What's up, everybody? This is Johnny Basement, and we are back here in the basement to go over a mid-season NFL report, and the rise of the AFC East right here in the basement. I'm Johnny Basement. If you're new in the basement, please hit the subscribe button, the bell notice, the like button, drop some comments in the comment section. I will go over all of the comments, and I usually respond to mostly all of them if I can. We're working our way to 1,000 subs. We are 100 short of them as of this video, so please help me to get to that 1,000. I appreciate every single one of you guys. So anyway, the rise of the AFC East, the last division expected to do anything. The only team coming out of this division was supposed to be the Buffalo Bills. That was supposed to be the easiest division to pick. Early in the season, all the predictions had all the teams in here not doing anything. Maybe Miami, but the Jets and the Patriots were pretty much written off. Pretty much written off under most. I took some numbers from some ESPN preseason predictions, pre-2022. So there are some numbers in here that I'm just going to go off from that. We're going to start on the rise of this AFC East. Remember, the AFC West was supposed to be the dominant division, not just in the AFC, in the NFL. The Chargers, the Raiders, the Broncos, Chiefs, right? Chiefs like got that division wrapped up. I mean, the Chargers are 5-4. Nobody saw that coming. They were supposed to be way better than that, right? The Raiders are an absolute disgrace. They're an absolute disgrace. Josh McDaniels is better off as an offensive coordinator, it appears. Is he the modern day Norv Turner? Norv Turner was a great offensive coordinator, never really made it as a head coach, but I don't know if Norv ever looked this bad. Josh takes the cake. He lost to Jeff Saturday. No coaching experience. That is for another day when we do the midseason report on the AFC West. That's not for today. But that was the division that was supposed to be the division to take over the NFL. They were going to have the best teams. Russell Wilson's in there, and that's not it. The AFC East, with an honorary mention of the NFC East, who now with the Commanders knocking off the Eagles last night, the last undefeated team. Now the Commanders are 5-5. So the NFC East also, like the AFC East, does not have a loser in the division. The Patriots currently are in last at 5-4 with a winning record, and now the Commanders are 5-5. And we'll go over the NFC East then too. Just saying, there's only two divisions now with no loser at the bottom. But since the Patriots have a winning record, not even at 500 like the Commanders, the AFC East has the toughest division in football. Let's take a look at each of the teams right now. We'll start with the Miami Dolphins, who last season finished 9-8, missing the playoffs by one game. Bizarre season. I think they started out like 1-7 and then finished the rest of the year 8-1. Flip-flop year from first half to second half, tale of two different halves, basically. So that's how they finished off last year. This year, they were predicted to finish under 8 wins. Under 8 wins. Again, I got looked up a lot of this on the ESPN sites. And their preseason prediction was that Miami Dolphins would have under 8.5 wins. They're already at 7. They've already broken down that theory. Tua, killing it this year. 2,200 yards. 2265, I think to be exact. He has 18 touchdowns to only 3 picks. 18 TDs to only 3 picks. And that certainly helps when you have receivers like Waddle and, of course, Tyreek Hill, who has 1,148 yards receiving this year. His best season was in 2018 when he had 1,429 yards, give or take a yard, with the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. So now Tua has all these targets to throw to, and they are killing it. Miami right now is the 8th ranked offense in the game right now. Their defense is what's going to bring them down. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed. That's the problem. Miami's going to have a ton of shootouts. The tougher the teams they get that have defenses, they start slowing Tua down. Remember, Tua's undefeated. The Dolphins were 0-3 when Tua was out, but the defense was still putting up points. I mean, giving up a lot of points, and that has nothing to do with Tua. Nothing. Like the Jets dropped 40 points on the Dolphins when they did not have Tua. So, yes, they probably would have had a more balanced offense, more points, I should say, than the 17 they did get, but there was 5 rushing touchdowns that day. And the Dolphins defense, I have numbers here for you, they give up an atrocious amount of points, which is why having an offense like Tua and company, you can go toe to toe. You just don't want to have every week being a, sling it, sling it, sling it, touchdown, 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 and we're giving up touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. It reminds me, if you're old enough to remember, go back to the Dan Fouts Chargers when he had two wide receivers, a tight end that all had 1,000 yards receiving, and their running back had 1,000 yards rushing. And who was that? That was Chuck Muncie. And Wes Chandler was the tight end with 1,000 yards receiving, John Jefferson and Charlie Joyner. So there you go. That's where the Air Coryell offense, their defense could not stop a nosebleed. And those Dan Fouts Chargers went to the playoffs all the time and got in these monster mega shootouts, including one against the Dolphins back in 1981 or 2, around there. And you can't survive like that. The Chargers never even made the Super Bowl with one of the greatest offenses. Air Coryell was what they called it because Don Coryell was the offensive coordinator at that time. So anyway, when you're giving up, like when they played the Ravens, I have the numbers right here. The Ravens, the Dolphins got 549 yards of offense in that game. Remember, they came all the way back in that game, being down by 3 touchdowns. The defense gave up 473 yards that day. Against the Lions, the 2-win Lions, the Dolphins put up 476 yards of offense compared to only 393 the defense gave up to the Lions. The Bears game, the Dolphins put up 379 yards, the defense gave up 368. See where I'm going with this? Their best game was this past Sunday where they put up 491 yards on the Browns. They trampled them 39-17 and only gave up 297. That's the first game in the last few weeks that they didn't give up more than 300 yards on defense. So their defense is definitely going to be a problem for them. Miami, they're 7-3 right now. Their offense can go toe-to-toe with anybody, no doubt. Their defense is going to be their downfall. I predict that the Dolphins will finish with 11 wins. They'll finish with 11 wins this season. They're going to have a couple of losses there that they might have won, but they're just going to be shootouts. They're going to be high scoring. Anytime you watch the scores, you always see the Dolphins up there, these 28-24, 38-34, that kind of stuff. So, and we've seen it even against the Lions, right? So that's the prediction for Miami. They're going to have, and their defense is ranked 21st in the league. Their defense is ranked 21st in the league. So that's more than halfway, to the bottom. They're on the lower end of the defenses in the league. So they're only better than 11 out of 32. They're only better than 11 teams out of 32 on defense. So that's going to be their downfall. I don't think they'll make the Super Bowl, but however, I do think they'll make it deep in the playoffs, and eventually they'll meet a team that has a secondary in the defense that can shut that down and slow it down, and where their defense can't stop anybody. Moving right along, we're going to move to the Buffalo Bills, where last year they won the division at 11-6. Won the division at 11-5, I should say. But anyway, they won the division last year. The Bills are the heavy favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. Yes, even over the Chiefs. They're expected to make the leap past the Chiefs. They picked up Von Miller to solidify that defense in a true locker room leader right there in Von Miller. Von Miller was an amazing pickup. How the Rams even gave him up, I don't know. Going back to how the Broncos even gave him up, I don't know. Monster pickup for them, and he's being real productive. So it's not like they just picked up a guy with a big name and he's just hanging around. This is the problem I see with the Buffalo Bills. They've dropped 2 weeks in a row, 2 leads that they blew. The one against the Jets, they were up 14-3, and it looked like I was at that game, and it looked like they actually had it in hand. Like Josh Allen was running everywhere. Got both of the touchdowns, 14-3, right there. They blew the game the rest of it. They only scored 3 points the rest of the way. Stephon Diggs had 93 yards in the first half of that game, had 0 yards in the second half. This is what I mean. That's another explosive offense got shut down. Josh Allen was sacked 5 times in that game by the Jets and intercepted twice. Now, those interceptions was not because of the Jets' defense. It was strictly on Allen. Those were Zach Wilson-esque type picks, just real head scratchers that you would expect from Zach Wilson, not from Josh Allen. Real head scratchers. I mean, the kind of ones that he threw maybe back in 2018. But anyway, it shows a lot about what the Buffalo Bills are. The Buffalo Bills rely on Josh Allen for everything offense. He's their leading rusher in 5 of 8 games this year. 5 of 8, he was their leading rusher. When it's 3rd and 3 or 3rd and 2, Look to Josh Allen to go from quarterback to running back. You can't keep continuously have this guy do everything. Defense is starting to pick up on it. He ran all over the Jets in the first half of that game. The second half of that game, they took away his lanes. They took him away, and he ended up, for the total for the day, was 5 sacks. And then he had nobody to throw to because the Jets secondary is good. Now fast forward to the Vikings yesterday. 27-10 lead at one point. I'm like, the Vikings have Kirk Cousins at quarterback. They're 6-1, 7-1, right? 7-1. I'm like, they're not going to come back in this game. They're not going to come back against that Bills defense. No way. They're not going to come back against them. Not with Kirk Cousins down by 3 touchdowns. No way. They did. That was one of the craziest games I have ever seen. Ever. Definitely the craziest one in recent memory. You don't see games like that with all, including John Jefferson's reach back, one-handed grab, and the quarterback had both his hands on it. How he caught that ball is beyond me. Beyond me. Gabe Davis bobbled that ball on the sideline there. The fumble in the end zone. The stop on the end zone on the line, stopping Kirk Cousins on 4th and an inch. And they didn't get in. The Bills get the ball back and cough it up. You can't make this stuff up. The game was incredible. The Buffalo Bills, up until the Jet game last week and then the Viking game, they were cruising, man. They were cruising. And even with their injuries that they've had, they were cruising. 6-1, beat the Chiefs already this season. Fell apart the last 2 weeks, and they're exposing a lot of holes. Their run defense is not good. Their run defense has been atrocious the last couple of weeks. That's a big problem. Their pass defense is no problem. Their pass defense is fine. The Buffalo Bills, they're 9th in defense. 9th in defense and 4th in offense. They're top 10 in both. Top 10 in both. But their run defense. The Jets got the ball on their own 4-yard line with 7:43 left in the game, tied up at 17, and burned 6 minutes off the clock with a beaten-up offensive line. Running James Robinson up the middle, Michael Carter around the outsides. And they just kept going down the field, not relying on Zach, down the field. The Bills, yesterday, Dalvin Cook, they had him shut down for a little while. Then boom, broke out for that monster 80-yard touchdown run. Wow. I still think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you now. I still think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're going to get it together. What I saw yesterday is they tried to make Josh Allen a game manager yesterday, and they ran the ball a lot more than they normally do. You saw a lot more of Devin Singletary and Woods running yesterday. You saw a lot more of it. So I think, but then again, eventually Josh Allen's going to have to run. And he's a gamer. He's not going to sit there and worry about his injury. He's going to run. But what happens? Even yesterday they had a scare. He was down on his elbow again. Like, you cannot continuously have this guy running and doing everything on that offense, because you get to the playoffs, and maybe that's why they lost the last couple of times. There's a lot of reasons why teams lose. I'm just saying one of them is that, like, Josh Allen doing everything on offense is starting to get exposed, and they're forcing him into making decisions. The head-scratching interceptions, I don't have an answer for. I can't say defenses are credited for that, because these were really bad interceptions. And I know a few Buffalo Bills Mafia, and a lot of them are subs on this channel. And they've even agreed, like, that's Josh Allen 2018. Like, what are these throws? Like, where are they coming from out of nowhere? So the Buffalo Bills, though, I still believe are going to win the Super Bowl. I think they're going to get it right. I think they're too well coached a team, and I think they have too many stars on that team. And they've been through this process a couple of times already, so they already know the mistakes they've made in the past, and I think they're going to be just fine, and they're going to move on and still win the Super Bowl. That's my prediction there. On to the New York Jets. 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 Nobody predicted this. 6-3, second place. They beat the Patriots on Sunday. They're in first place, 7-3. That would make them 3-1 in the division if they win. They're currently 2-1 in the division. And that's the other thing with the Buffalo Bills. The other problem you're facing, you're 0-2 in the division right now with games left at home in Buffalo against the Jets and the Dolphins. And then you have 2 left against the Patriots, whom you have not played yet. So the Dolphins are 2-1 in the division as well, and the Jets are also 2-1. So if they beat the Patriots Sunday, which they will, they'll be 3-1. They'll be 3-1. They should have beaten them last time. It's a different talk show, and Zach Wilson doesn't know how to throw to his own team, and that's why they lost there. Honorary mention to John Franklin Myers, who hit Jones in the back that took away a pick six that could have made it 17-3 at the half. Big difference from ending up going in 10-6. Anyway, the Jets still make those little mistakes, but Zach Wilson right now is holding this team back. He's the one that has held the team back. He did have a big jump back last week when we beat the Bills. He came back through 18 of 24, 18 of 25, at 154 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 0 picks. That's what we wanted, 0 picks. Just be a game manager, overcome that 3 interception bad game the week before against the Patriots, come back. But you didn't draft this guy number 2 overall, quarterback, to be a freaking inconsistent game manager, and that's all he is to this point, an inconsistent game manager. Joe Douglas said he was going to rebuild this team from the line out, and he did. The offensive line, all Joe Douglas. The receivers, Joe Douglas. Running backs, Joe Douglas. Quarterback, Joe Douglas. His hands are all over this team, and this team is rebuilt. This team's rebuilt. The defense is monstrous. The pass rush. Quinnen Williams should be a household freaking name, man. He's got 7 sacks. That's more than any interior lineman right now. The combination of himself, John Franklin Myers, and Carl Lawson. Just those 3 guys alone have 42 quarterback hits. Alone, just those 3. That's more than 16 teams before the start of yesterday's game. So I don't know if that has changed as of now. But as of the start of yesterday's games, those guys were had those. Well, those guys still have those numbers. They had the bye. I'm just talking about. I don't know if it's still more than 16 teams. Is basically what I'm saying. But anyway, the Jets come back in games. This is a bizarre year for the New York Jets. Now, Zach Wilson, again, just going on that for a minute, I think he's going to have this season to figure it out, to stop making dumb passes, okay? Because if he doesn't, right now, he honestly is the only thing that's holding this team back. Even with Breece Hall getting injured, the combination of James Robinson and Michael Carter and the fact that the Jets even went out and traded right away for the Jaguars running back, shows that the Jets are ready to win right now. They're ready to go to the playoffs right now. This rebuild, no one could have predicted this. Shout out to Brady Quinn. I always like to shout out to Brady Quinn, who said the Jets would be 0-9 before they could even think about getting a win. 0-9. Thank you, Brady Quinn. Big shout out to you, man. Sorry that you sitting in the green room didn't work out and you didn't get picked in the top 3 people, right? Didn't they have to move you out of there and move you another section so you wouldn't face further humiliation and embarrassment? Well, you did face it. 0-9 for the Jets. Thank you. Big shout out. I will shout out to Brady Quinn every time I do a video on the Jets. So anyway, the Jets, Joe Douglas has rebuilt the entire team. You have the combination. Now, Garrett Wilson now is starting to come out. He's starting to show some life. Denzel Mims has come around after requesting a trade. Elijah Moore, I don't understand what's going on with Elijah Moore. No idea. No idea. The guy has complained that he wasn't getting any passes thrown to him, which is true. He's very, very, very unproductive season, and I don't know why Zach's not throwing to him. Then they benched him for the Bronco game. And then they brought him back for the Bills game, and he still had 0 targets. 0. I don't know why. I was at that Bills game, and I'll tell you what, I did keep an eye on Elijah Moore, and every time he ran a route, Zach never even looks at him. He doesn't even look at him, so I don't know what's going on there. Usually Zach is looking at the other team anyway, apparently. So I don't know what's going on there, but I do know that the New York Jets, this is not some fluke. Them beating the Bills, and they've beaten other teams this year. The Jets right now, 2018 was the last time the Jets won a game in September. That was Sam Darnold's opening night against the Detroit Lions. His first pass was a pick 6, but then after that, he went crazy, and we thought we found our guy. No. Little did we know that we wouldn't see another September win all the way until this year where we got 2 of them. 2 of them. Also, what also separates that September 2018 game, that's also the last time the Jets were above 500 when we were 1-0. This September, we ended up getting above 500. The same time. Wow, we haven't been above 500 in 4 years. The Jets have 2 fourth-quarter comebacks of 10 points or more. This is you can't process this as a Jets fan. Like, all of these positives going on, you just can't process all of this. There's so many numbers to go over, man. 2 fourth-quarter comebacks, just that alone is absolutely incredible. 2 September wins, and we're above 500. 2 September wins. Insane. So, and Sauce Gardner looks like the real deal. I don't compare rookies to legends. When people say, oh, you got another Darrelle Revis, I don't know if we have another Darrelle Revis or not. Guy's playing great. Yes, so you Dolphin fans out there that said we didn't play against Tua, very true. Let's see Tua and Tyreek against Sauce. Let's see it. Tyreek's the best receiver in the game. Stephon Diggs, honorary mention, but he shut him down. Honorary mention is Stephon Diggs, who has close to 1,000 yards this season. I think he's at 985. So he's the other one that Sauce was supposed to get torn up by, and he didn't. He didn't. He had 0 yards in the second half. No touchdowns. Allen, no touchdown. No touchdown passes in that game against the Jets. So the defense is real. It's there. We know it. This wasn't some fluky win. All right, so the Jets are there. By the way, they're over-under this year. Not just ESPN. Everybody predicted the Jets to finish less than 5 wins. No one predicted 0-9 like Mr. Quinn, but the rest of most analysts predicted the Jets have less than 5 wins. Okay, they're at 6-3 right now. And with a win Sunday at New England, they'll be 7-3, 3-1 in the division, first place, even though their record will be tied with the Dolphins who have a bye next week. They'll both be 7-3, but the Jets win the tiebreaker at this point. They still have games left in Buffalo, in Miami, in New England. So we got 3 big AFC East games coming up. The Vikings are everybody's schedule, by the way, is tough. New England has the toughest remaining schedule. The Jets, Bills, and Dolphins also have schedules that are brutal, but I looked it up. New England has the toughest, not just in the division. New England has the toughest in the league for the second half of the season. Now, speaking of New England, we are moving on to the Patriots. We know the last time they won a division was 2019, last time Tom Brady was on the team. The Patriots are 5-4 with a roster that wouldn't make you think they would be a 5-win team, even though they were predicted to win more than 8 games this year because they went 10-7 last year. 10-7 last year, they finished second in the division, but 3 of those 10 wins were against winning teams. The rest of them were against doormats. They got exposed in the playoffs, 47-17 blowout by the Buffalo Bills over the Patriots, just absolutely blew their doors off. That's not Patriot football. It's not Belichick football. We know that. We know that. Mac Jones has regressed terribly this year. He has 4 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Now, Josh McDaniels is an absolute dumpster fire as a head coach. Absolute dumpster fire. You don't lose to a head coach like Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday has never coached a game in his life as a head coach. Their play caller, I don't even know his name, has never called plays ever. Ever. Just got signed on this week, and you lose to the Colts. Raiders, are you kidding me? Well, anyway, Josh McDaniels leaves. The guy was a great offensive coordinator. Look what Mac Jones last year. Everybody's saying he was the best quarterback in the draft. Who knew? Look at him this year. He's not getting that. Patriot fans want Bailey Zappi in there. Bailey Zappi, third-string quarterback, comes in, looks great. Looks great up until the Bears game. Before the Bears game, looked absolutely incredible. And all the Patriot fans that loved Mac Jones, he's our future, we're going to win Super Bowls with this guy, to now getting booed because they want Bailey Zappi in there. Now, Mac Jones has another bad game. He was sacked 6 times against the Jets last time and threw 2 interceptions. One was taken back because of the late hit, John Franklin Myers. But overall, they did pick him twice, and they had 6 sacks. So he's facing a ferocious defense this week. They're 5-4, though, guys. They have a realistic opportunity to win the division. Bill Belichick is the reason this team's 5-4. The Bill Belichick's strategic mind to the game is second to none. It's second to none. The guy was a great defensive coordinator way back when he was under Parcells with the Giants. And Tom Coughlin was there, by the way, also on the offensive side. All right, so as a receivers coach. Bill Belichick is an incredible coach. Without him, I swear to you, this Patriot team would have probably 2 wins. He understands the game. He understands what kind of team he has. He understands the strengths and weaknesses of his players, and he utilizes them against the other team. He knows the other team's weaknesses. Zach Wilson is hard. I think he's thrown 7 interceptions against Belichick. Minimum 7. I know that's in 2 games. I don't know the 3rd game. But he's had horrendous games against Belichick. So look for the Jets to do a big running game this week. The Patriots, Stevenson's been a great draft pick for them. I think he came out of the 4th round. He's a brutal running back, man. He is vicious. The guy is great. They have good secondary. I mean, the Patriots' defense is 13th in the league. 13th in the league defense, but their offense is in the 20s. It's bad. Their offense is bad, really bad. Their offense is not good. And to leave Mac Jones, okay, so McDaniels leaves. So you put Mac Jones in the hands of Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, the same Joe Judge that couldn't coach his way out of a box with the Giants, and Brian Dable takes over, minus Jabril Peppers, who's on the Patriots, and he's 7-2 with the same team. With the same team! See how much coaching makes a difference? With practically the same team, Brian Dable's 7-2, where Joe Judge couldn't practically win a game. Look at the difference coaching actually makes. Robert Saleh, culture change. Belichick, keeping the Patriots relevant. Their defense is great. Their offense is not, but they're still a threat because of Belichick. That's what makes this whole Patriot team relevant at all. Really, honestly, because their offense is atrocious. It's bad. It's really bad. It's worse than the Jets. I mean, and the Jets' offense isn't bad. Zach is bad. Their running backs and receivers are good. This is going to be an interesting finish to this season, man. They all face each other 3 times minimum. The Patriots have the Bills twice, the Jets Sunday. That'll be it for them, and then the Dolphins again. Every team here, and we still have to play teams like the Vikings. The Jets and the Patriots at least still have to play the Vikings. There's a lot of games left. It's tough. It's going to be tough out there, but the AFC East is on the rise. The AFC East is not going anywhere. The Jets' young team's going to be around for years. We're just hitting our stride right now. We're not even hitting on all cylinders yet. Not even hitting on all cylinders yet. The Dolphins, man, young Tua, Tyreek Hill, that offense, Waddle, explosive offense. They're going to be around for a long time. Buffalo Bills are going to be around for a long time. It's Josh Allen's 5th year. I know the Bills Mafia is getting a little restless. They want to get in that Super Bowl. I don't blame them. The Bills went from 99-17 without winning a playoff game. Without even making the playoffs. Excuse me. Tyrod Taylor brought them back to the playoffs in 2017. Josh Allen was the first one to win a playoff game in 2020 since 95 with Jim Kelly and them. The Bills are, if I was a Bills Mafia, if I was a fan of the Bills, I would want my team to be in the Super Bowl by now, or at least have won one by now. The Bills don't even want to see another Super Bowl loss. The Buffalo Bills should make that Super Bowl and win it. I really think they're going to get things together and get it right. That's where we're at. AFC East. That's where we're at. The rise of the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills are going to be around for a long time. The only team that's going to be difficult to figure out for their future is the Patriots. They have some decent young players. They do have some veterans on that team, but their offense is really what needs a lot of fixing. A lot of fixing. The Jets need a change in Zach Wilson. The Patriots need a lot of fixing on offense. If Bill Belichick ever decides to retire with the team they have now, the Patriots will be buried and last forever. Belichick keeps the Patriots afloat, period. A lot of people hate him or say he's not the GOAT or whatever else. Or, I'm a Jet fan. They've beaten up on my Jets 13 times in a row, even though the last one we should have won. All right, but they've beaten us 13 times in a row. Belichick has only lost like 7 or 8 games as head coach of the Patriots to the Jets. And as a sports fan, I would be ignorant and idiotic to say that Bill Belichick's not the greatest coach that's ever been around. Tom Brady, not Tom Brady. Oh, he won because of him. Whatever. Look at what he's doing with the team he has now. Okay? So that's the prediction. The Buffalo Bills going to win the Super Bowl. Miami Dolphins going to lose in the divisional round. In the second round, they're going to have 11 wins. They're going to lose in the second round. The Jets are going to make the playoffs but lose in their first playoff game. And the Patriots will not make the playoffs. They're going to finish with about 8 wins. The Patriots will finish with 8 wins. The Jets are going to finish with 10 wins. The Dolphins 11, and the Bills will still finish with 12 to 13 wins. They will. They're going to overcome the 2-game loss. I mean, come on, man. You think this is going to keep going on? The Bills can't get a knockout every week, but it's not going to continue on. That's going to be a Super Bowl champion. That's how the standings are going to finish. Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots. That's how the standings are going to make it. 3 of our teams are going to the playoffs. The last time all 4 of our teams went to the playoffs, if you're curious, was 1998. The last time the Jets won a division was 2002. Miami was 2008. Bills was last year, and the Patriots was 2019. So there you got it. All caught up. The Jets are 20 years now not winning the division. 12 years since we've even been in the playoffs. We have the longest drought in the NFL. Guys, I'm Johnny Basement. If you're new in here and you're even still sitting here listening to all this, subscribe, bell notice, like button, hit your comments in the comment section. I will see you on my next video. I'll see you on my next live stream. I'm Johnny Basement. am out.